Good afternoon, YouTubers. T Square with T Square Talk. So, hope everybody's having a great day. It is Thursday. I don't usually do a video on Thursday. However, I think there's something really important that we need to talk about, both as preppers and just as people trying to make it day by day with inflation and everything else going on. And I think there's something really important that mainstream media is not really talking about that I kind of wanted to do a video on today. So before I get started, I'd like to ask everybody that enjoys this video to hit that thumbs up button for me. Help me out. Please hit that subscribe button. You can't imagine how much it helps the channel just having the subscribers. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of this. If you think it's going to be a big impact or you don't, I love to hear y'all's opinions. So yesterday the OPAC had met, OPAC Plus, and all these countries basically got together and have decided to cut oil output, oil production. They're going to be cutting oil production by 2 million barrels of oil a day. And I don't think people fully realize what that means. You know, I've talked to a few people already today as I was running around picking up stuff. And a couple people are like, it don't matter. We got plenty of oil here. And, you know, it blows my mind because of the importance of this. So I want people to think back probably about 3 or 4 months ago, what we were paying for oil prices. Our oil, our gas, where I'm at right now, it was in the spring, and my gas was up to 4 something, roughly. And then they decided we were going to release 1 million barrels of oil from the U.S. strategic stockpile a day. So for those of you guys that don't know, the U.S. strategic stockpile reserves, that's our basically emergency bank account of oil. So the U.S. buys oil, they store it there, and we basically save it for an emergency, whether that be a war, whether that be some crazy thing where we can't get oil. We have plenty of oil on hand. Now the problem is, though, that oil has been dwindling. That bank account has been dwindling. And a lot of that dwindling is because we decided, hey, you know what, gas is getting too expensive. It's starting to really hurt the American public. Americans are not currently happy at the time with inflation going up, plus oil going up, prices of everything going up. So they decided we are going to release 1 million barrels of oil a day. We saw a national gas average pretty well drop by about $1.50. That's 1 million barrels of oil, just 1 million. Now, yesterday they announced we're going to cut OPEC production by 2 million barrels of oil a day. So here's what I want you guys to think about, because this is, it's not being talked about heavy on the news, but it's going to affect you. Here's why. 2 million barrels of oil a day. So a lot of us that in the prepper community that have kind of been looking at this, we've been thinking, okay, so after the midterm elections, that basically almost ends the 6 months. We got about a month, and then the 6-month time frame is going to end of the 1 million barrels a day from our strategic stockpile reserve. So if that just happened, let's just say we're going to forget about the 2 million barrels of oil a day. We're just going to look at that 1 million barrels of oil a day going away. It's no longer coming out of our strategic stockpile reserve, our bank account. So basically, that could end up pushing oil, gas, back up to $4.50 roughly. Now, the thing people need to consider, this is where it gets kind of crazy. If on top of that, they're also going to cut output by another 2 million barrels of oil a day, if that 1 million barrels of oil a day had a $1.50 roughly impact at the pump, while another 2 million on top of the 1 million that's going to go away, we're talking 3 million. That could add $4.50 at the pump from what it's at right now. I'm not going to lie, I'm in Texas, and usually from what I've seen around the country, gas is relatively less expensive here on Texas because we produce it here. A lot of it comes out of Eagle Ford Shale, and I can't even fathom paying $7.50 a gallon here in Texas. But here's what's even more scary. If gas right this minute in Texas is $3, and I'm predicting gas could go up to $7, let's say, here in Texas, think about where you're at for a minute, and then add $3 on top of your gas price right now, and think of what kind of impact that's going to have on you. Now, I know some people have told me, well, it's not a big deal as long as the prices of other stuff that we use come down. We've seen some stuff come down. I'm not going to lie. We've seen a slow dip. But as we've stated on other videos, a lot of that dip, I believe, is because a lot of people are saving money right now. People are holding on to their money real tight. They're cutting their spending because bills are essentially going up and they're scared. The interest that you've been maybe putting stuff on your credit card, the interest rates are going up on that stuff, and maybe you're getting a little nervous and you're tightening up. You're trying to build up a little extra cash because you're afraid that prices could keep going up. Well, just the essence of everybody saving a little more money is going to cause prices to work down a little bit naturally. And that's kind of the reason they had around the cutting the 2 million barrels of oil a day. They said their profits, they were basically not making as much profits. They got to keep their profits high for their shareholders that invest in the companies. But by doing that, that's going to drastically raise the price of gas, diesel, heating oil. We're coming into the winter months, and essentially that cost is going to filter into every other food product, every other product that you buy that gets shipped, that gets mined, that gets produced. And here's the thing, we're in a time where a lot of stuff is still closed because energy costs are high. You look at what's going on in Europe, a lot of their stuff is kind of starting to close down because they're having energy issues. You look at China, stuff is slow to come out of China because a lot of their stuff is closing down. And here in the US, everything's open. People are just starting to tighten their belt a little bit. But the problem that a lot of people are not seeing, and we've talked about prepping and preparing food for long-term production, long-term preservation. But the thing a lot of people aren't considering is, what if food prices were to double from what you pay right now? I mean, I was talking to a buddy the other night. Sometimes in the evening, maybe we'll shoot over to a grocery store and just ride over there, get a couple items, see what's on sale. He said, you know, in the old days, not even the old days, like a year ago, he would go to the grocery store, get a couple things, and, you know, you're out $30, maybe $40. Now, you can't walk into the grocery store probably without spending $100. You know, you think about what $100 used to buy you at the grocery store. I listened to an analogy the other day. They said literally $100, a kid could bring it in one trip. That's what you take out of the grocery store right now. Literally, a kid could bring it in the house. I found that interesting. When in the old days you had to make multiple trips on adults, and today literally $100 is like nothing. But people just don't see what's coming around the bend. And here's the thing, when it hits, it's going to hit fast and it's going to hit hard. It's going to, first thing, you'll know that what I'm saying is right if you start seeing your gas move up in the upcoming month. Now, some people are saying, well, just because they said they're going to cut up 2 million barrels of oil, that doesn't mean that they will. I mean, they said realistically they may only cut 1 million barrels of oil. To me, that's wishful thinking. It's wishful thinking. It's something that already the news is not covering. I know the Ministry of Energy over in Saudi Arabia area had said, you know, that essentially they're not in collusion with Russia. It's just point blank. They're going to maintain, they're going to cut back on energy, and it's going to raise the price, and they're going to maintain their profits. It has nothing to do with what's going on in Russia right now. It really makes me wonder what will happen if people slow down on buying when gas goes to $7 a gallon. Because there are going to be some people where I was listening to one YouTuber, and he's like, I may pull my kids from school instead of driving them back and forth to school every day. I mean, I'll homeschool them. I mean, think about the amount of gas that you're going to be spending. Think about how that's going to pass on to other products, our everyday groceries, and then we start seeing prices go up there. It's going to choke us out, literally. I really think people need to take the time now to kind of start prepping. I know a lot of the people that have been subscribed to the channel for a long period of time are already prepping and have been for a little while, and that's why they watch the channel. They pick up tips on ways to preserve food for a long period of time. Maybe you buy in bulk, maybe you buy for yourself and another family. You guys team up, kind of split stuff, do your shopping together, that type of stuff. I've actually started carpooling with a friend of mine when we go to the grocery store. A buddy of mine that lives right here on my street, he goes to the grocery store sometimes. He'll be like, hey, you want to roll together? Yep. Why? Because it's a little ways to save money. And they know that gas is being cut. They're basically Americans are spending less on gas right now in terms of gallons, not in terms of price that they're paying at the pump. By raising the price, you're going to still spend the same amount of money. You just ain't going to get as much for your money. You're seeing it with products. I was at the dollar store the other day, and I needed a thing, just a little bit of aluminum foil. And it was funny because I used to buy my aluminum foil, little roll, for $1. It was 25 feet. 25 feet of aluminum foil for $1. Then one day I saw they were changing it out, and the new batch had 20 feet. That's 25% less aluminum foil for the $1. And I said, well, that's like a 25% jump in price. So I literally bought all the 25 feet ones that were left over. They didn't have a good rotation. They just kind of pushed it. It's not like aluminum foil goes bad and you have to rotate it. However, it's interesting when you see that. Then they upped the price to $1.25 for that same 20 feet of aluminum foil. So by upping it to $1.25, that's another 25% price increase that people just aren't seeing. Then after that, what did we see? Now they're going down to 15 feet. Well, 20 to 15, that's another 25% price increase. And they keep telling us, oh, it's just a 25% increase, or it's just a little extra. But you know what? Look how many it's been. 25, 25, 25. It's basically a 75% increase. I'm actually getting now almost, not quite, because 25 to 15 is really a 40% drop. I'm getting 40% less aluminum foil for 25% more money. And people just don't see it because it's being done in different little ways. It's being done in small amounts. And little by little, I mean, I argued a price out the other day when I went to the grocery store. It was only 20, 30 cents. And I did the math and I was like, well, that's 8% on my item. That's an 8% just by that mistake. So I argued it out, and someone's like, dude, it's only 30 cents. Why are you arguing over 30 cents? I said, it's every item, though. We're seeing it. We're seeing in the grocery stores now, the Walmarts. I know some people can't stand Walmarts, but we're seeing it at every store. The prices are changing faster than they can change the tags on the items. And it's only going to get worse. And if people don't really start preparing for this, they're going to get hit hard. Now, I sometimes wonder if this awakening will be good for people, because it will make people realize, do they really need everything that they're maybe buying, everything that they're wasting? How much extra miscellaneous junk do people buy and throw away? Now, I understand if you're a prepper, you have extra stuff. It's stuff that you're going to use. You rotate it. It's not really junk. But if you are the type of person that you're just going to buy something, use it once, and throw it away because, oh, it was only $1 at the dollar store. There is no dollar store anymore, first of all. Everything's $1.25. Minimum $1.25. But with prices going up, I think people really need to realize that and kind of get ahead of it. And if you do, I think you'll do all right. you'll be able to save more money in these hard times, because these hard times are going to wipe out any savings that you have built up. It's going to push you more to the breaking point. I don't believe things can keep like that forever. I believe this is just going to be a period of time where they squish basically all the middle class down. And once you realize that and take what you want from this video, if you think what I'm saying is wrong, you can kind of just watch the pump, see if the pump starts going up again. And once you see the pump, keep in mind, a month or two later, you'll see the groceries go up. And the reason you have to see the groceries go up is because they're going to be spending more money in gas, transportation costs to get that food to the store. You know, I'm excited to see the CPI numbers coming out in a week from now, 2 weeks from now. That's going to be an interesting set of numbers to see, has inflation gone down or is it still going up? It's bad enough that we rig our numbers. What I mean by rig is we don't use actual rent. We use, I can't remember the actual term they use, basically where they ask people if you had a house, what would you be able to rent it for? And it's more of a survey base and not real rent prices. So it's something to think about. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you something to think about. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And I'm going to be doing some more videos, getting back into some prepping videos, as we are starting to see a lot of gold and silver start climbing in price. With the premiums, the spot prices going up now, so we're seeing getting hit on both fronts. And if you haven't really stacked much, then essentially, hopefully you're stacking food. It's about preservation of what you have. It's not, people have this conception of how much money you make, that's the most important thing. It's not how much money you make, it's how you spend the money that you're making. I mean, you'll get taxed more and more. If you make more money, you're just going to get taxed a higher percentage, but it comes down to how you spend your money. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope to see you guys again on T-Square Talk. You guys have a great day. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one. Bye-bye.